much for taking out the time. And so how I will just give you a little context about why I started this series. So the series is mainly for me to kind of speak to the different founders, different brand managers, different creative professionals from across industries and different walks of life to understand how basically creative problem solving spans across different cultures, different communities, and different countries, right? So the overall idea is to unpack those experiences and help other creative professionals within our network to then grow within their careers. So that's essentially why I started this. And the one of the people that came to mind was you, because you're right now working as a brand manager at one of the cosmetic fashion brands called OLAPLEX that is out of Dubai. And I know you've been working in Lebanon a few years back, and that prompted your move to Dubai. So just wanted to understand, just get a quick introduction about what you do and what essentially led you to move from Lebanon to an aggressive market like Dubai, and what actually prompted you to get into brand management and marketing.
Sure. Just I want to ask you something. Like, so when are you starting to record?
I have started right now about a minute back. Yep. So you want me to run you through that again?
No, I can. If you do, you wanna, you will be cutting it. How do you want to do it?
So we can start, as I was asking you, that I just wanted to understand what prompted your move from Lebanon to an aggressive, fast-paced market like Dubai, and then essentially what led you to get into brand management and marketing.
Okay, so you don't want me to go through my background and my studies.
Yeah, you can give me a quick intro. You can give me your background about where you started out in Lebanon and then what made you to move to Dubai.
Okay, so technically, when I started into, I never thought that I would be a marketeer. Growing up, I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And then we got a chance during our school end of year, like, and three last years, like in high school, to go through like a pre-studies kind of a training in any sector we wanted. So the school gave us this opportunity to go and figure things out. So I went to hospital. I spent time in different departments, and then I realized, even though it was intriguing for me, it's not for me. I'm more of a people person. I'm more of a creative, more of a. I have this both analytical and creative side. My dad isn't, I always give this introduction, like my dad is in the army, my mom is a fashion designer, so I feel like I have a bit of both, like the strategic thinking and the artistic side of things. So yeah, after doing few research, some guidance from school, from people in different sectors, I realized, okay, why not try the business industry? Like go into study business, you'll figure things out. I went to university, I studied business. I didn't like the financial side of things. I was like, that's not for me. Only numbers are not for me. I want something that is creative, that is more interactive. So I figured that I realized that I'm doing better in anything that is creating a business plan, anything that is directly working with the brand. So I did my master's degree in marketing, which I never thought I would actually excel in. I was working on directly with brands. So at the university I was in, it's called EIDEAL Business School in Lebanon. They directly put you in touch with brands where you work on actually directly with the brand. So you go there, you understand their need, and you build your plan based on that, with a budget, with a full P&L, etc. So this is where I felt like, okay, this is for me.
And this was in a live setting, like you actually entered the business, the company, and then worked with them for 6 months, or was it them coming?
You don't work with them.
Yeah.
You go there.
Okay.
You ask the questions. You can do the studies if you need to. They come here and they give you like the basics, and then they choose few, like they select teams, the winning teams, if you want, based on a preliminary study that you do. And then if you are judged on that, but also if you're one of the 3 or 4 winning teams, then you would go and work even more on it with the company. Some marketing campaigns actually worked and they used them. Some of them were more used as for archive or for studies or etc. So during my studies, I got the chance to find a job at a fitness club in Lebanon, which is actually available now in Dubai. It's called Fitness Zone. So
Goodness
at
gracious.
that time, I was like a marketing coordinator,
Mhm.
and I worked closely with the marketing manager. And we were mostly working on activation inside the different boutiques, like small events, activation with clients, doing partnership with other products or brands, etc. I
Yeah.
worked there for a year or so, and
Mhm.
then I graduated and I wanted a more hands-on opportunity. So I found an opportunity with Samoa Cosmetics.
Okay.
So it's color cosmetics brand in Lebanon. It's one of the first brands for cosmetics and nail polish in the country. And it was really interesting to work with this brand that growing up, you've been seeing
Yeah.
everywhere, like in
Yeah.
your mother's purse and everywhere, wherever you go. Like they had this slogan that was very well known. So it was interesting for me to enter directly in a world full of color, full of a lot of artistry, like a lot of visuals and working with models, etc. But the company, even though was old in years, it was very much of a family business. So the marketing department was kind of starting to being built, and we
Yeah.
built it together. It was a big learning phase for me because
Yeah.
I was there. I needed to prove myself. I was very young and I had no clue what I'm doing,
So
but
you were
I
required to
fell
do
in
a
love.
little bit of everything.
Yes, like I started with digital and then social media and then creating. It happened that at the same time COVID came in and we
Yeah.
were like, what to do? Let's build a website. So we built a website and we did a lot of events. I got the chance to travel with the brand to discover how the production is done. So I worked a lot on product development as well. So it was a really like a full kind of a marketing view.
Mhm.
After 5 years, I felt like it's time for me to change. So I worked into luxury watches and jewelry in a more of a corporate setup.
Yeah.
And after that, I worked with a fine jewelry designer, Nada Ghazal, who she's a very niche fine jewelry designer. So I worked also in this jewelry storytelling sector.
Yeah.
And after that, like, because of everything happening in Lebanon, the insecurity, the instability, I
Yeah.
felt like it's time for me to move from different point of view, not just from the instability point of view, but instability means lack of growth, lack of opportunities.
Mhm.
And I felt like I needed more.
Mm.
So I found this opportunity with IDEA, which is a distributor of professional hair and skincare in the
Okay.
region. So we're based in Dubai, but we distribute for the GCC.
Mhm.
And I moved to Dubai with this company. Now
Okay.
I'm handling different brands. One of them
Okay.
is OLAPLEX, but yes, I handle like 3 or 4 professional hair care brands here in the region.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting shift. As you said, Dubai is very different. I
Yeah.
mean, it what for me was completely like shocking or different was culture. At
Culture.
the
Yeah.
at the office, yes, like you grow up in Lebanon, it's true. We always say that Lebanon is full of different backgrounds and religions, and we live all together. Yes, but it's the same culture. It's the same way of seeing things. It's
Yeah.
the same unified audience. You're
Yeah.
talking to the same people. Here, you're working with different people. So, one, you have to adapt to them. You have to understand what's right and wrong for them because what's wrong for me is not
Yeah.
necessarily wrong for you. It was very I learned a lot and quickly during the first 4 or 5 months because a lot of things you grow up or in your environment, they're received differently. Like if I joke about something with my
Yeah. It
ex-coworker,
it
they
doesn't
wouldn't get
translate. Yeah.
offended.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here, no, like here, you don't know the background. You don't know what this joke or this specific word means
Yeah.
to them. So
No, I felt
so
that too. I felt that too when I moved there in the first year. It took me a lot to kind of figure out that, okay, what we actually accept or what's culturally accepted in our country back in India is not culturally
yeah,
accepted out there. So it took me a lot of time to figure what the cultural nuances and to realize how sensitive and unsensitive people are towards certain things. So yeah, that took me quite some time. But yes, I completely relate to your struggles working for family business and working for a setup where things need to be figured out very proactively, right? Like if you're in a leadership position, you're expected that you have a team to deliver, but then you're put there and you realize, okay, you're doing everything on your own. So I completely get that, because in the start of my career, I dealt with a lot of startup brands which were kind of figuring things out, and we were supposed to figure it out along the way. So it was an interesting journey, got us ready for what we are doing right now. So I guess that was an interesting learning also. So, but talking about moving from Lebanon to Dubai, is there something that in your previous experience that didn't translate as expected when you came to Dubai? What you had expectations from Dubai? Was there something that didn't translate from your move to Lebanon to Dubai?
I mean, from you mean from a professional point of view,
Yes.
like from a work point of view?
Yes.
Look, I always feel that, I mean, I worked in the cosmetic and the luxury sectors.
Mm-hmm.
The cosmetic was more of a prestige kind of sector
Yeah.
and positioning. And they both focus a lot on storytelling, on background, on how to deliver the message,
Yeah.
understanding the customer and then catering the message to them. So I think it's true that I didn't know necessarily or specifically the customer here, but
Yeah.
once I got to know it and to understand them, storytelling is the same.
Yeah.
Understanding the brand, reading the brand, understanding the root of the brand and how to translate it and how this really connects with people here,
Yeah.
then it's the same. It's similar. It's the same approach. It's the same thing. You just start by understanding and then implementing it.
Yeah.
What didn't click to me, maybe, or what didn't really help me, not didn't really help me, but was completely different, is that, I mean, it's true that I work for a big international brand, but Ideal is still like not a startup, but a
Yeah.
startup a concept.
Yeah.
So this helped me, like understanding how small businesses, small companies with small teams and adapting to challenges and different ways of doing things and understanding that, okay, that's your JD, but
Yeah.
actually you have to do much more, or you have to
Right.
adapt, or you have to change.
Right.
I think growing up in Lebanon and also working in these companies and this environment translated here as well, or helped me adapt quicker in
Right.
a quicker way and shift, do this shift in a more smooth way, I can say.
Okay. And you also spoke about culture being one of the challenges that you had to face in your transition, right? What other challenges that you came across in your professional setting as a marketer, as a brand manager, that you encountered when you were working at with brands like Olaplex?
I mean, it's when you work with international brands, this comes with a lot of, how to say, way of doings, like a lot of things that stop you. Maybe you're not completely owning the creative, you're not completely owning the strategy. You really have to
Mhm.
follow something that the brand did, right? Like you're,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I'm working for a distributor,
Right.
so I'm not working directly for the brand. But I also worked with a distributor in Lebanon for luxury watches and jewelry with Maison
Okay.
Cadran. So I was representing brands like Patek Philippe, like Vacheron Constantin, like Chaumet. So these brands have also their own strategies and limitations. Like you cannot go beyond that.
Okay.
But what you need to learn in this context
Mhm.
is, how can I be creative?
Mhm.
But most importantly, how can I still follow the brand guidelines
Okay.
while speaking to the audience in the region, because it's a
Right.
different audience. You're not speaking, you think that you're only speaking to Arab, but it's not true. Like Dubai is a
The diverse
full of
culture.
different,
Yeah.
diverse culture, diverse people. They are influenced by different things. You have to follow like a local calendar if you want, like main events, local
Yeah.
relevance in the sense of what is the culture of the UAE, what culture is in the UAE or in the GCC, and how can I be relevant to it
Yeah.
without forgetting the different people and culture and audiences that are coming from different countries. So yeah, I think the important thing is to understand what each brand, like Olaplex or any other brand that I manage, each brand, what is the purpose or the message or the tone of voice of the brand, who are their customer, and adapt this message to them. Each brand is different. So
Right.
you really need to understand each brand and who you're talking to and adapt the message to them. While at the same time, when you work for a distributor, you have to also adapt your thinking and your brand to the distributor strategy, because you have a company strategy as well. So this is where also working with different teams is important. When I was in Lebanon, it was a smaller team and it was one brand or different brand, but you own it on your own and it's part of one entity. Here you
Yeah.
have different teams and different brands, and you
Yeah.
have all to have relevant. I sometimes my sales team go to a specific salon. Another person from another brand goes to the same salon. We cannot be bringing two different values. We have to have the brand value, but also, and most importantly, the company value.
Right.
So the company value and strategy. So it needs to be relevant and to make sense and to be consistent across.
Right. Yeah. So you spoke about, I have actually two questions on this line where one, you spoke about adapting to different brand guidelines and different brand tonalities, right? When you're working for a global group and that has multiple brands underneath it, how do you then as a brand manager jump from one brand tonality to another? Do you have like a certain process or a workflow that you follow that makes you understand, okay, because brand managers are pressed on time, right? Everything needs to go out yesterday. So how do you then move quickly and proactively between each brand and try to stay consistent, try to deliver the same message that's required as per the brand guideline? What kind of process do you follow out there? And my second question is, we've spoken about brand a lot at this point. What is branding? I mean, many people get this wrong across the industry. I've been in this industry for about 12 years.
Yeah.
People till date don't understand what branding is. So if you care to explain that branding obviously goes beyond the visual aspect of it, beyond colors, logos, even messaging at some point. So when you're building for an organization or a brand like OLAPLEX or Danger Jones, for example, where you're managing consistency, being relevant in a market like Dubai, and business impact, when you're managing all of that at once, what essentially is branding?
Look, I think that branding is what you want people to remember you with, or how do you want people to remember you. In Lebanon, we have this ad that is repeated in different ways. It's the same ad, the same context, the same concept, it's repeated.
Yeah.
And I figure that I always tell the story of this ad because it's a funny ad.
Yeah.
And when they asked me which brand was it, I couldn't answer. I know I know what the product is.
Yeah.
I can tell you the whole ad. I can repeat it and
Right.
sing it and
But you don't know the brand.
redo it,
Yeah.
but I cannot remember if it's this brand or the competitor.
Okay.
And I think that's the wrong thing. You can do big, nice visual. You can put your logo somewhere big. You can talk about it every now and then and day and night and use the colors. But if people cannot remember you, if it's not consistent throughout the tone of voice, the color, the placement, why did you put it here? Does it make sense? Does it make sense to see you at Dubai Mall or not? Is it relevant or not? Even if they see you a lot and it's not relevant, it doesn't speak to you, you cannot relate to the brand, it doesn't make sense. So for me, really is what and how you want people to remember you, how you can connect with people. That's what's branding to me. I might be right, I might be wrong, it might be the right answer or not, but for me, the right branding is how making sure that you're consistent and that people remember you the right way anywhere. And now you asked me about the first question about how do I manage different brands and
how does management span across different categories? Because you spoke about adapting to different guidelines, different messaging, different tonalities. It gets overwhelming for anyone who has to adapt to it so quickly and then get the messaging right at the end of the day. So how do you do that?
it's very important when you onboard a new brand to understand it, to read it, to get the education needed, and to do your own research. What I do sometimes at EIDEAL, I get involved in the onboarding process of a brand, like choosing if it's the right brand, does it fit the portfolio, does the price make sense, etc. And we do the whole competitive analysis, brand study, also like market study, etc. And I always try to create a chart or at least like a table of where this brand stands in terms of who is the customer, what's the price point, where it should be placed, and which type of salons, which hairdresser we should talk to. So once this is clear for each brand and you know each brand's tone of voice, strategy, type of promotions, what works for this, what doesn't work, what's accepted by the brand or not. And then build a full year plan with a full clear budget that can be changed and amended. And then as long as you involve the team or the third parties, whether you work with an agency or an in-house team, involve them as soon as possible.
Right.
Because they will be able to help you. You will be able to build things quickly, and you will be able to have a go-to market that makes sense, and that you don't need to change every now and then. Of course, you'll have to do some amendment based on market need, based on the change. Like, for example, you launch a brand and then something happened and you have to back down. So you decide accordingly. But I think if you really understand the core of the brand and who's your audience, then it's easy. You just need to translate it to the different team members, whether sales or marketing.
Sorry to cut you, but I actually had one question on that. Do identities and messaging sometimes overlap between different brands? Or that doesn't?
Of course, yes. Sometimes brands, even if they're not competitors, they talk to the same audience. And sometimes they have, but that's not a bad thing, right? If you know how to, if you work from the beginning on not cannibalizing each other, and we can all have our part of the pie, right? We don't have to, sometimes this helps you as a distributor. This is when the distributor strategy is important, because you don't just think as this brand needs to work. You think, how can this brand and this brand work together? Do I need to collaborate on event? Do I need to do one education? Like, for example, what's different between luxury and beauty and hair, professional hair care? Luxury is very much into storytelling and experience around the product and around the customer journey throughout. But professional hair care is very much about education. It's a very education-based audience. You're talking to hairdressers. You're talking to salon owners who sometimes are not hairdressers. So you need to teach them, but also to bring them something new, something different. Why do they want to work with you and not with another brand? So when you give them this education, and when they become partners, not just clients, and when they start trusting you, then you know that through education you can include other brands and tell them how they work together, how to present them to the end consumer together. And if they don't work together, how to have them at the same time at the salon, and not necessarily sell them to the same customer, because sometimes you have a salon that has different customers, not necessarily speaking to one audience. You know, we have salons clients, for example, that are very much targeting curly hair. And they only have curly hair clients. But within the curly hair clients, you have
different
colored hair, curly hair. You have non-colored hair, natural, curly hair that doesn't want to keep their curly. So how to talk to each one, and how does your brand or the different brands within your portfolio speak to them? It's important to have a 360 approach, and to be open to adapting and to changing and to introducing something new and something different.
So at every end of every 3 months, do you go back to check your marketing plan or the strategy that you had set across the entire year? Because I know, like, in terms of luxury there, it's very experiential. So you would cap down on a lot of events, versus when you're talking about a hair care brand, while there are events, there are also activations, a lot of online communication that you need to place focus on. So do you go back to check your strategy every now and then to see if the team is aligned, if our messaging is on point, if everything is happening seamlessly across all customer touch points in a seamless, and if not, then how do you go and recorrect course?
So the way we work is that we have different teams, a team handling professional and salon channels, but another team handling retail and e-commerce. So when we do our plan in collaboration with these different teams. Like me, for example, at the beginning of the year, I know that this is my customer base. This is what we're planning to grow in terms of new doors, etc., the opportunities, etc. And we plan a marketing plan with a budget that we need to follow in line with the P&L, etc. Our cycles are based on 4 cycles per quarter. And each month we reevaluate the situation, what's happening, what's the update throughout the different departments. So we do like a monthly business review kind of thing. And this will help us adapt quickly instead of waiting for a full quarter and then analyze the situation. We do it on a monthly basis and with the different teams. Like, for example, now we have this war, if you want to call it,
Yeah.
that this is a situation that forces you to adapt. You
Yeah.
need to change. Everything is affected, not
Yeah.
just your sales, but your shipments are affected, your sales are affected, the team is demotivated,
Yeah.
you're unsure about what's coming. But you need to be, you cannot lose your momentum, and you cannot lose the community, right?
Yeah.
Because it is a moment where you need to be there for your partners and
Yeah.
listen to them and hear them and adapt, and maybe give them, I don't know, maybe give them payment plans or rearrangement, or give them more education. And all this will fall into your initial plan, right? Like your
Right.
budget is going to be different, your return is going to be different. So yeah, I think we should be always ready to do any amendment or directly understand the market. It's a quick market.
Yeah.
Everything changes quickly in general. Even if we don't have any like situation like now, it's a quick market. And if you
For
don't
sure.
adapt, you lose the momentum and you lose the brand. It's very easy for another brand to enter. It's an interesting market because it's very much beauty oriented, but customers are not loyal to a brand. It's very
Right.
rare for a customer to be loyal to a brand, because it's easy. You go on TikTok, you
Yeah.
discover something that just created a hype, and you want to try it.
Right.
So you will put your other product on the side. You will not need to replenish it,
Yeah.
and that's how it goes, right?
But
So yeah, I think you need to adapt on a monthly basis. For example, we do have events, but
yeah.
our events are education based.
Right.
They're not just like a party, etc. We have ongoing in salons or in retail stores activations that happen. At the moment, we cannot have activations
Yeah.
because people are not moving around, etc. But we do something else. Like, for example, we offer gift with purchases. We're a little bit more interactive on e-commerce.
Mhm.
So yeah, you change. Whenever you have an omni-channel approach from the beginning and your
Yeah.
strategy is clear, then shifting from a channel to another and seeing that this channel is going down, this channel is going up, see how you can maybe find a way to limit the loss, I can say.
Yeah. You spoke about brand loyalty, right? How it's difficult to achieve brand loyalty when it comes to cosmetics and hair care. I would say that so I worked in luxury hospitality. I know that because it's experiential, it kind of becomes easy, because if you deliver that entire experience with consistency over large periods of time, you have a good chance to becoming a brand that generates loyal customers. But you spoke about this being difficult in cosmetics and hair care. Why is that so? Because I feel like the brand loyalty aspect goes way beyond the product, right? It's the kind of story that you're telling, it's the experience, it's a little bit of everything coming together on a recurring basis to then achieve that sort of loyalty. So is that not possible for a brand that works in the beauty category?
It's not that loyalty is not achievable. It is achievable, but customer is curious. The
Yeah.
customer in this region is curious. They want to try something new.
Yeah.
So they might put your product on hold. Like, for example, in OLAPLEX,
Yeah.
people use the treatment, the shampoo, the conditioner, and the bonding oil.
Yeah.
Okay, these are, let's say, the things that are part of your routine, right? And then you go online. Maybe you will not stop using the oil and the treatment because it's something that you know that needs consistency, that you don't want to lose. Your hair is damaged, and
Hmm.
you saw the result and you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
So you don't stop things that you know work and that you trust. A shampoo or conditioner is part of
Hmm.
the routine. It will make the result quicker, but
Hmm.
from an end consumer point of view, they're curious to try something new, something trendy, something that every influencer out there is using it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean they will not come back. They might come back. And this is where you approach them with trying to retain them. Like, for example, train the salon the hairdressers to push for an upsell, for example, giving them a gift with purchase, creating a loyalty program.
Hmm.
But at the same time, they might be trying something else. They might come back, but
Yeah.
they will be trying something else. This you cannot necessarily. Sometimes I only find the words in French or in another language.
It's fine. You can say it in
You
French and we'll
yeah.
translate it online.
So you cannot escape this. But as long as you know that your client, as long as you remind the customer and you go back to them and you reach them through digital or through an influencer or through their trusted hairstylist, then you know that they'll eventually come back.
Right. And in terms of consumer expectations, you've seen any change happen from across different markets? How are the consumer expectations changing across the different markets, even though it's the same category? What change have you noticed?
I think people are more conscious about what they put on their hair nowadays. Hair and scalp has become as important as skin. They call it the skinification of hair care. So people are more curious, are more into searching and fact checking. So I think that what Olaplex as a brand is doing is showing more the science side of things, like
Okay.
showing microscopic view of the hair, because it's a science-based brand. Not every brand should do that, but from a brand point of view, it's a brand that speaks to people in that sense, from a science point of view. So you have to be relevant to this scientific side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to, if you do one thing that is wrong and you create controversy, it's hard to
Bounce back from it?
exactly. So brands really need to be careful about what they say, how they say it, how to answer criticism, how to reply to a problem that happened. We always try to, like, for example, if a client had an issue with any brand, not necessarily with Olaplex, we always try to invite them to our academy, make sure that they are seen by a professional, make sure that they're doing the treatment the right way. People are sometimes, nowadays, TikTok is creating this idea of, I can do it at home. I don't need to go to the professional. But that's the wrong thing, because there are things that are made for you to do at home. But there are things that are made for a professional to do them on your hair. So it's important to it's a bit weird, right? Because like when I say people are conscious about what they do to their hair and they are more conscious, they are more curious, but at the same time, when they see something online, they want to do it at home. So it's a bit
Do you not think that's also because of the thing that the messaging that the brand has created for a very long time? When you talk about the claims, especially, I've seen that happen in pharma, I've seen that happen in beauty, and even with hair care and cosmetic brands, they make a lot of false claims, right? If you see some of the legacy brands out there, when they do new product launches, there are a lot of claims attached to it, like you will completely get your hair back in 3 months, right? And then you get, like, the customer uses the product and then they go through this negative experience. Because, so why do brands make these claims? Like, why not focus on the emotional benefit of the product versus the functional benefit? Because the emotional benefit has more value, right?
I don't think that the claims themselves are wrong. I think that the way it's interpreted, it can be wrong. At the end of the day, you're selling something, right? You want something that makes the headline, like a big claim. But then when you dig into it, how does this claim answer my need? Let's say if they tell you in less than 3 minutes, you're gonna see a result on your hair. But what's the problem with your hair? Is it completely that, like, did you burn it with bleach? Or you just use the chemical, like for example, is it damaged because of bleach, or is it damaged because of the water in Dubai and the extra minerals? You know what I mean? So it will repair your hair in less than 3 minutes if your hair is that. But if your hair is that much treated and chemically treated, etc., no, it needs much longer. And that's why I go back to go to a specialist. If it's a hair related, go to a hairdresser. They know what they're doing. They will tell you you need this at the salon and this at home service. Not because they want to sell you more, but because it's a process. The same goes for dermatology. When I go to the dermatologist, she cleans my face, she gives me the treatment, and then at home I have a list of products that I need to use. And it's very specific. This product you cannot go to the sun with. Why? Because if you go to the sun, the claim that the brand did is not going to work. You know, so that's why I say, like, yes, what is on TikTok and what is online sometimes is true because it's part of a personal experience that's interesting and it's part of the new generation of marketing. But at the same time, some things are good to go back to. Ask more, go to your specialist. These people are trusted with their knowledge. They educate themselves. The brands educate them as well to offer you the right service. So yeah, I think it's not false claim. It's just a claim that you cannot follow by the book.
Got it. Okay. Very, very diplomatically put, but yeah, I buy that. Uh, but when you talk about any product launch happening on a nascent level, right, on the ground, what does a typical product launch look like from the time it's planned to execution to distribution? How does that entire process work?
There's a lot of studies before the launch. It's important to understand where this product sits, who is the direct competition, indirect competition from a price
Mhm.
point, understand the audience, who you're talking to, who is this product for? Is
Yeah,
it replacing something? Are you taking a market share, or you're expanding the market, or you're expanding the need, you're creating a need?
yeah,
Because based on these bases, you will adapt your message. You will talk to the right audience. Are the people interested in price, or
hmm,
they're interested in the value of it? What is the USP of the product? Are you sure in your campaign you're translating this? So there's a lot of work in the background. But
hmm,
also, once this is going to launch, you need to know, you need to understand and to make sure that your go-to-market plan is relevant. Like, for example, Ramadan
yeah,
for us is a gifting season, right? Internationally, it's not.
yeah,
But you need to create that here, right? You either ask the brand to create something for you, or
yeah,
you have to create it yourself. So again, where do you stand by this product launch? Did you launch it at the right time? Did you launch it during summer,
hmm,
where in Dubai it doesn't really make sense, right? Like, can you launch it? I mean, people are not here. Is
yeah,
it relevant? You need to understand the right timing, the right approach. So yeah, there's a lot of we also work on pricing and brand. It's each company has a different way of doing it, but for us, we do the
yeah,
pricing ourselves, like from a marketing point of view.
right,
And since we're working with a B2B before B2C, we
yeah,
also have to work on like the trade, how we're presenting it to our partner, what is the visual merchandising that's coming with it.
right,
Are we offering them the right training? What are we doing in terms of activation inside the salon, inside the retail? From a holistic approach, are we doing a 360 launch? Is it digital exclusive or salon exclusive?
yeah,
If it's not exclusive, are we sending the right newsletter? Are we seen on Google? Are we on Meta? Do we need to be on Meta or
yeah.
invest in TikTok? So it's really about a lot of things. A lot of things are happening in the background, from budgeting to strategy to planning. And then when things are planned, you need to ensure consistency. Like, is the product moving, or did you put it on the shelf and that's it?
Right.
If it's not moving, what do you need to change? Do you need to give them more education? Do you need more end consumer education? Do I need to go on social media and talk directly to the customer and send them back to the salon?
Yeah.
So it's really a lot of stages and a lot of things that are happening. Yeah, each product is different. Some products will need an influencer collaboration,
So,
and some of them will just need a good visual and putting the word out there.
so
It really
in
depends
your
also.
experience, what sort
Yeah.
of strategies has worked for you when you talk about, like, you spoke about paid media, you spoke about influencer, you spoke about digital campaigns. What sort of strategies have really worked for you and what haven't?
It really depends, Jimmy. We cannot say this works and this doesn't work.
Hmm.
It really depends on the product. I
Hmm.
think what's important is making sure that your client or the customer that you're talking to, whether B2B or B2C, sees you everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they need to remember you, to see you and see you again, and repetition. And the repetition needs to be consistent. Is the marketing and the email and the email that you're receiving, the social media posts, people around you, sales team, when they come to the salon, are they talking about the same thing? Is the end consumer asking about the same product? It's really to have a holistic 360 approach. The
So
360 doesn't mean.
do you think that for every brand this is valid, where you talk about, because yes, it's a key consideration for any brand in today's world to show up everywhere, right? But is that true for every brand? Because I feel like luxury, there would be a different sort of marketing strategy attached, where you don't have to show up everywhere. If you talk
No.
about brands like Hermes and stuff, you don't really need to talk about Hermes online. But when you talk about slightly lesser luxury or premium brands, they do, because the need requires them to be on active online, they show up online. So when you speak about keeping a holistic marketing strategy in place, do you think that those strategies are valid? Like, say for example, you have a playbook. That playbook can differ from brand to brand.
Yes, the thing is, when I say everywhere,
Yeah.
it's everywhere depending on the brand.
Okay.
Everywhere doesn't mean to be on out of home and on
Yeah.
Google,
Yeah,
on
because it
YouTube.
doesn't make sense.
Um, exactly. So if you're talking to an audience based on
Yeah.
hair loss is big for, let's say, for men. Where
Yeah.
are men?
Yeah.
Maybe they are on X. They are
Yeah.
not on Instagram. Maybe.
Yeah.
Where do they go and search for these products? Is it in a community? Is it
Yeah.
in a like, for example, I remember in Lebanon when we launched one of the watches, where are this audience? This
Hmm.
is a high-end product.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive product, and even though it's expensive, it doesn't speak to everyone.
Yeah.
Putting an ad on Instagram or on Google search was not what matters. So we collaborated with a high-end car brand at the moment, at
Okay.
that time,
Okay.
and we did a joint event where VIP clients from this brand and VIP clients from the other brand, from the
Yeah.
watch brand and from the car brand, and we did a joint launch. So
Got it.
these clients you can benefit from each
Right.
other's clients, and you can launch the brand for the right
So
audience.
it's building
So
visibility both ways.
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
really finding where your audience is and making sure that wherever this audience goes,
Yeah.
hear about your brand. Um, when I talk about Danger Jones, that is a color brand.
Yeah.
Me as an end consumer, if I go to the salon and I tell the hairdresser turn my hair pink, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna tell him use Danger Jones or any
Yeah.
other brands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him turn my hair pink,
Yeah.
and I want to make sure that I don't lose my texture and I don't lose and it's still healthy. So
Yeah.
this is where the hairdresser should tell you, okay, I have this brand that is trendy, that is known for XYZ, and
Right.
I want to use it on you. And this is where your audience is not the end consumer, it's the
Right.
hairdresser,
It's the
you know.
hairdresser. Correct.
So yeah, that's
And in terms of planning
my answer.
any sort of campaign, when you talk about advertising online or even offline, every campaign has the creative direction attached to it, right? How the messaging is put across in the best visual output, best media format that you can think of, which is going to then help the customers engage with your brand. So what makes you trust a creative direction and take it forward without any hesitation?
It's important that the creative direction understands the main purpose of the campaign. What is the message that I want to convey? Because again, I go back to this example of the ad that
Yeah.
I told you about. Um, if it's fun, looks nice, colorful,
Yeah.
beautiful, and I don't remember the brand with it, and I don't remember the main selling points, and people will not remember me or remember exactly what my purpose is, it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, if I'm having a campaign about science
Hmm.
and I go and talk about color and nice hair and beauty and different hair and not tackle the
Yeah.
formula or the base of it and showing science related data and clear USP, clear claims, then
You fail.
my whole campaign failed, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
So it's important to deliver a clear brief and clear purpose to the creative team, whether it's part of the company or an external team, an agency. They need to really understand the purpose
Yeah.
to avoid back and forth. A lot of creative do understand. A lot of creative actually want to understand the whole thing and have clarity on the details. Some of them will request also your I personally worked with the same team,
Yeah.
an external team, for the past 3 years for event, for campaigns, for video
Right.
creation. Of course, now it's easier with them because they know what I want. They know
Yeah.
how I expect things, how the brand specifically sees things. But at the beginning, it required a lot of work, a lot of back and forth, a lot of
Understanding the brand.
explanation,
Yeah.
understanding on the brand, because these people work with 100 different brands. So it's our job as marketeer to translate the right message and make sure that with any creative, whether it's a video, a picture, graphic, whatever it is, it translates and it answers the initial problem.
Right. So I've seen a lot of creative people kind of struggle to adapt, and you rightly spoke about how it takes a lot of time to get an understanding of a brand, even though the some of the people and agencies I've worked with beg to differ that they can do it quite quickly, right? And maybe so, maybe they can, but what kind of process or what kind of workflow should an agency kind of follow to break through for a brand, and because a brand is kind of working with multiple agencies, right? And many of them are delivering the output, but what is required for a new agency or a new brand, a new creative professional to kind of enter a brand ecosystem?
Something we've done with agencies we've worked with on a long run, like not just a project-based contract, is we start with a fun, interactive brand introduction with, at the end, like a game of asking them questions, like a speed answering questions, etc. Maybe not every brand does it, but I think the agency should be curious enough to ask the right question and get the right training or the right introduction on the brand. It's important. Sometimes the client of the agency, like a brand owner, for them, we think that you know everything, you know it all, because we know it all, because we understand it, because for us it's very clear. Why don't you see it? But for agencies, it's not the case. They see a lot of other things. So I think it's important that it comes from them to ask, to be curious, to come back with a first brief and see how we will react to it, how we will change it. Ask all the questions at the beginning to avoid back and forth and re-editing and changing. And this doesn't only apply to agencies, creative agencies. It also applies to PR agency. Imagine me owning, I don't know, like self-care, only natural product, natural ingredient, natural customers oriented kind of campaign. And then kind of brand, and then the agency gets me a list of influencers that have nothing to do with this approach or this identity. Then that it will be a failure for both of them, and they would be doing a lot of work and time. It's time consuming, it's budget consuming. So it's important to understand everything from the beginning to make sure that they get all the information needed, so they're strong enough to come back with a clear brief that makes sense.
Right. And when you talk about being a brand manager at your position, what are some of the values? You spoke about innate understanding of the brand, and then you spoke about, which I would relate in some aspect to, a will to learn about the entire brand. What other values do you see to then tie up with a new partner, be it an agency, be it a PR agency, be it another distributor? What are those values that you look forward that align with your brand expectation?
I think it's important to work with people that you can communicate with easily. You can go back to, you feel that there's a common interest, that these people understand you, and you can really, like, you don't feel like it's transactional. It is transactional in Dubai. It is how it is. But at the same time, I'm sure you can build relationship. You can build I work with agency and people. The team I work with are people I talk to outside of work, are people I find something interesting, I share it with them on Instagram. They can share with me ideas that are not related to the contract. They can, if they hear something about the brand, they just share it with me because they deeply care. They deeply understand and care about this collaboration and value that we have as partners. So, I mean, at EIDEAL, it's important for us at EIDEAL because it's the core of the business. Building partnership first is what matters. This community, the partnership, we really, most of the time we choose our partners based on gut feeling. Not just gut feeling, but I mean, it plays a big role.
Of course, it's the work and the portfolio is the first leg. But if you're not going to enjoy who you're working with, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's important. It's important, and I think I learned this at EIDEAL. I learned it because I got exposed to more B2B clients, more partners, more agencies, etc. And yeah, it's important to connect, to feel that you have similar values, that you deeply care about the partnership first, because anything else can be amended and changed. And if the partnership is there and trust is there, you can do anything, honestly, to get together.
Of course, I agree to that as well, because that's one thing that I wanted to kind of put in place for my agency as well, that we have like a shortlist system where it sounds a little different than how normal agencies operate, but we have like a checklist of the kind of clients that we want to work with. So we go through that checklist we basically go through interviews with our clients before we kind of onboard them. So that's something that we really believe in, where alignment is really important between two partners who are getting into any sort of collaboration, right? So I think that is key. But just before we jump on to the next question, I just want to let you know that my camera is placed here, but my screen's out here. So if in case you're wondering why I'm looking down, it's because of that. I can't
No,
keep,
no, no. I
yeah,
understand that. No worries, no
yeah,
worries.
yeah. So just wanted to
I
let you know.
usually work on a similar setup, but for this
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
this
don't want
podcast,
you to think I'm ignoring you. It's just the
no,
camera is
no. I
here.
know, I know, I
Yeah,
know. Don't
it's a
worry.
bit
I
distracting to
got
keep looking, but
it.
yeah. So I just wanted to know, you spoke about a lot of creative problem solving, and I want to know that because a lot of creative people within my network have also told me that something that they would really want to learn is what is the mind shift or the kind of skill set required for a creative professional to move to a fast-paced environment like Dubai.
I think I'm going to answer you something that I think that is not just Dubai related, but I think learning and understanding AI nowadays is very important, and not just from a creative point of view. I think all of us and all industries, AI
Yeah,
is taking a big shift. It's growing drastically. Things are, if you don't jump on it, you're going to lose the momentum and you're going to be out of the game.
yeah,
So I think if you don't understand it and work on it and learn it, it will replace you. So
right.
in order to keep on managing it and working with it and grow yourself as a professional, whether creative or a marketeer or an analyst or anything, any kind of position or job, I think being curious about AI, not necessarily using it right now if there's no need, but
Yeah,
being curious and understand it and learn it is important. In a fast-paced environment, it's important as well because I know from our industry, sometimes
yeah,
we need a picture, a video, or a visual in less than 2 days. We used to pay for that. We used to pay that extra money for a video to be edited in 5 hours or in 3 hours.
yeah,
Now we know that it's feasible, it's
yeah,
doable with less money. So if you cannot offer it to me with less money,
yeah,
at the end of the day, as much as I value beauty and authenticity, as
yeah,
much as a marketeer, I'm also holding budget and P&L
yeah,
and responsibility.
yeah.
So wherever I can cut, especially with times like that, I will have
You
to cut.
will, yeah,
So if you as a creative can offer me something cheaper but still of high quality, then you're winning I mean, I would be choosing you as a first choice, me or a company or whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that would be something interesting to grow with and to know, to learn.
yeah. Are you getting involved in AI? Are you upskilling yourself?
Not much. I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to know things more than ChatGPT. I'm trying to and play around with it. I'm still very new at it, I'm gonna say.
so something about ChatGPT which I really wonder, because ever since I've started using it, it's kind of spoiled me silly, because everything I go to ChatGPT, and I feel like that also tends to seep in through my professional life. Has that happened with you as well, where you're like constantly on ChatGPT for even the simplest things?
Um, Yes and no. I think I learned to use it to simplify things, like I always make typo mistakes. So
Okay.
this had helped me a lot. Like
Yeah, for the
I type
grammar.
quickly, and it's important to just clean some things. I wouldn't go to ChatGPT to create a full email for me. I'd rather go for some small amendments, some
Right.
brainstorming sessions. Like I wouldn't just go and ask ChatGPT to create a full
Yeah.
brief for me, but
Yeah.
I would throw in an idea and try to I don't know, brainstorm or
Yeah.
enhance the idea a little bit more. Then the way you I learned that the way you train the bot, it will come back to you. Like if you ask it to think like a, I
Yeah.
don't know, like a strategist or like a chef if I want to cook something. I try to manipulate it in a way that serves me back. Now, will I give it a full homework to do? I call her Chatty, and for me, ChatGPT is a her. Is a her.
Okay.
So yeah, so sometimes I ask her to just change or amend or push some boundaries,
Yeah.
take further an idea.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't ask her to just like come up with a campaign
So
or
I
plan
had
something.
gone for this conference a while back where this business owner spoke about how he had trained different bots within ChatGPT. So he had fed ChatGPT information for almost a year, trained every category of bots that he required for his company. and then he just automated them. Like even right now with Claude coming in, you can kind of
Yeah.
automate about 70% of your work. So then it's essentially just you and 7 other bots who work like your employees and get your business
Yeah.
run. So it's
Yeah,
really,
I'm trying to understand how cloud works. It's still a bit fresh for me. Also with like, limitation of like work laptops
yeah,
sometimes you have for privacy reasons,
security.
etc.
Yeah,
But I think understanding how cloud work and automate bots, it can simplify a lot of the work that usually are lengthy and time consuming, like
yeah,
I don't know, preparing a presentation out of an idea that you already have and the detail that you already have.
yeah,
It's easier, it's better. ChatGPT cannot do that. It cannot give you like a nice, well presented presentation. It can give you data. So yeah, it's really important to understand how each one work and how to use each different tool to serve you
yeah,
and your career growth or your department,
yeah.
instead of just do the job for you.
I have so many times seen these ads where it's like you learn how to use Claude to become a millionaire, and I'm like, am I the
Mhm.
only one who doesn't get it?
Yeah,
'Cause, yeah,
I think it needs a lot of time to check it, be curious about
yeah,
it, read more, and try, right? You need to try things to
yeah,
master it. Like 2 years ago, I didn't manage ChatGPT the way I manage it now. Now I have like folders, and each
yeah,
folders means something different. And yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
I think it's
Hopefully.
important to learn what this AI thing can do and how you can
Of course,
benefit
of
from
course.
it.
I mean, the extent of AI is way beyond my understanding, but like I do try my best to understand tools that help basically automate some aspect of my work. Because
Mm.
I know like a lot of work that I do can get automated. So I try my best to kind of put in these tools instead of putting someone there responsible for doing this. I rather just automate it with the tools that I've at my disposal. But you spoke about uncertainty, right? With this uncertain time going on, even during COVID, we faced a lot of uncertainty, a lot of difficult times. So when you're a brand manager working for any sort of brand in any category, what principles and I ask you personally, what principles guide your decision making when there's uncertainty or incomplete information available? How do you navigate that?
It's important during this time to to work closely with different stakeholders, like try to understand as much as you can, or control as much as you can what is controllable or what is within your capacity.
Mm,
So you need to be very, I mean, this is something that I've been thinking of lately. Like, we need to be very sensitive with our communication, because
mm,
it's really about, like, it's not just, it's uncertain time, but it's like COVID, like community matters. You need to to know who you're talking to and how to approach people, how to, like, people are going through a lot, like
yeah,
salons, for example, they're not having customers. So it's not really just about your business of not selling, it's also your partner that's having issues from their end. So it's really about understanding how you can manage the situation together.
yeah,
You don't always find solutions, you don't always um, um, I don't know, navigating uncertainty is not easy.
hmm,
Like, for example, when it comes to shipments,
yeah,
I know that I'm receiving the goods.
yeah,
I know that I'm receiving them next week. And then next week, I realize that the ETA has changed. So
yeah,
it's not something that you can control. It's not something
right,
that you can plan for, but you can try to manage something else. Like, try to understand your numbers, what is selling, how things are changing. Is is a specific product selling more because people are focusing more on necessities? And
yeah,
if so, how you can ensure that how you can ensure that this necessity or your stock is going to be available for the coming 2 or 3 months.
yeah,
How can you make sure that you're not giving it all to one client? You're making sure that all your community is benefiting from it, and not just thinking about selling and giving it all to one person who wants to bulk purchase. So
yeah,
it's really about understanding each situation and thinking about your initial train of thought and your ethics of, is community what matters to me and to my business? And if so, how every decision and everything I do, or yeah, every decision I make or everything I do is aligned with my initial ethics and
mm.
values. Yeah, and I think.
Yeah,
things
sorry.
will come around. Like if you're working with the right partners, if you're working as a team and not just you're not only by yourself, things you would be able to find better solution. You can brainstorm together. You can
Yeah,
talk. When you talk to people, you figure out a lot of things. People from different sectors, they can give you
of course.
insight on what they're seeing and how you can readjust your strategy. Yeah, I think in times of uncertainty, surround yourself with people and with ideas, so you can get more creative together and build for a
Yeah.
better community together.
You can also watch this video just in case you want to gather more insights about how brands are built, right?
Which video?
The one that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask two more questions. I know we are kind of over time, so I'm so
It's okay.
sorry about that. But what has been the most important shift about brand building from when you started your career to now? Like when you go back in time and you think about what your understanding of brand building was then to now, what has changed?
Um I mean, when I started my career, I didn't know anything. I didn't know that there's a lot of things to look at. I didn't know that. I just thought that this product works and then this
Hmm.
brand is nice and then that's it, you know. But then the more you learn, the more you understand the complexity of it, the more you understand that numbers actually matters and you need to read them and analyze them and understand them, because it's
Yeah,
not just about how beautiful things look and how nice they are and what people told me. Because sometimes you have this misconception, people believe something because they personally see it that way, and then when you go back to the number you understand that it's not true, this product
that's
is actually
yeah,
selling. Or so yeah, I think that at the beginning of my career I underestimated numbers a lot, and then with experience and time I realized that it's not just about reading number, it's how you look at them and how you analyze them and how you put different report together and
yeah,
read different views to take a decision.
yeah,
So yeah, it's important for us as marketeer to put our idea or way of seeing things on the side. Sometimes it's a good thing, it's a gut feeling and it helps you. And at the end of the day, if you're artistic or you're connected to the brand, you will feel it and you will act on it. But sometimes it doesn't serve you as a
mm,
brand owner. Sometimes this alone, not
yeah,
sometimes actually, in general, this alone is
yeah,
not enough. You
right.
have to back yourself with KPIs, with plannings, with proper reading of numbers, because yeah, that's these things shift, and you need to know them and read them, so you can take a quick decision when the time is right.
Yeah. And if you have to define, like you spoke about brand management a lot, and if you had to define or if you had to look into the brand manager of tomorrow, what sort of skill sets would be valuable for anyone joining Ideal or any other brand within your network? What sort of skill set would you expect the next Fabienne to have to follow in your shoes? What are the brand managers' skill set that they should have?
I think it's important for a brand manager to be a multitasker, to see things, to understand that there's a 360 view to things. You cannot look at one side of the thing. It's important as a brand manager to also delegate and to hear, to listen to the different team members and to third parties, because sometimes you see things for a long time and you deep dive in it, you forget, you don't disconnect from it. These
Yeah,
people that are a bit disconnected can bring a lot, and hearing them and brainstorming with them and let go a little bit of your attachment is important, so you can keep on growing
yeah,
and creating something new and something different. I think that's very personal and it's not a skill set. I personally like to work with brands that resonate with me. I
mhm,
don't think I can work for a brand that I cannot relate to in values or positioning or as a product as a whole. Like, it's important that I choose something that I like, that I can link myself to. Otherwise, I personally won't be able to give it my all. In marketing, I think it's very important to, for example, I'm a traveler. I like to travel. I'm curious. I like to discover new cultures.
yeah,
And with every trip, I came back with a new idea related to the job, or a new idea to create an event, or something that inspired me for a specific campaign.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for a person to be curious and to be open to something different. Sometimes in beauty you get inspired by shoes, or
Yeah.
by a cinema, or by a way of doing of a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's important to have this open eye and mind to take everything and then be able to filter them. I think this served me personally in my professional career.
Yeah.
And if it's possible for anyone to do it, I think it's a win
Okay.
for the person and the brand.
You spoke about, lastly, I mean, just to end off, you spoke about drawing inspiration from different things, right? And for you, as I was listening, you said that you draw inspiration from travel, from food, from, say, for example, a shoe. What would your favorite meal be? What would your favorite travel destination be? And what would your favorite shoe brand be?
I mean, travel destination, I mean, I'm personally very much drawn by Latin American culture.
Okay.
I'm also a dancer, so I think it's a region that is very rich in color, culture,
Yeah.
music. It's a resilient culture as well. I've never been, and it's my dream trip. It's a trip I think it's gonna be very rich from nature, people, music,
Yeah.
culture, history, and I think it's gonna be a trip that will inspire me and give me this shift or boost in my life and in my career.
Yeah.
A favorite meal or an inspiring meal, I would say a blind meal. I
Okay.
when I travel, I always like to go to a restaurant that offer this blind menu, not to
They
know
do.
what to
I've
expect.
never been to a restaurant that offers a blind menu. The only one I
It's
actually went for
you.
Cove's Supper Club. I think that's where.
Yes, I mean, Couve is interesting because it's a full experience, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the food. It's not
Yeah.
that you don't know the food. You
Yeah.
don't know the food. You don't know what the decoration on the table is gonna be.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're gonna meet, and you get to know people outside of what they work or where they're from or their
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
And honestly, personally, Couve plays a big role in who I am today as a marketeer and as a person, because I discovered a lot and I learned a lot, and this we go back to different culture and different people and different background, and
Yeah.
being part of this experience that's not just food, it's really about culture and
Yeah.
history and mixing and getting together.
Yeah.
You learn a lot from them. And it's the same when you travel, like go hunt for it, hunt for
Yeah.
blind menus, they're the best.
Yeah, for sure. I think the next trip I do, I'll definitely check out for restaurants that do blind menus. But yeah, it's been so good talking to you. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I know we've
Thank
taken
you,
quite a
Jimmy. It
bit of.
was really nice to have this talk. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. Um, I I can go sometimes above and beyond when I speak, and I move a lot, and I can change subject from in French we say sauter du coq à l'âne,
Okay.
which means that you jump from
One topic to another.
from one topic to another.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope I didn't do that a lot,
No, no,
but
it'll be
it was a
great.
fun session. I don't do podcasts. It's my first experience,
Okay.
and it was a fun one. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It was really insightful. And I hope to kind of do this again in person because so eventually I plan to do this more in the podcast style, whereas right now it's more Zoom style because obviously it's a bit uncertain. So very difficult to kind of get people in the same place. But yes, eventually, hopefully we'll do this again in person and that
I
should be
think what would be interesting is like a roundtable podcast,
for
like
sure. For sure.
several
I've thought about
people
that.
from
Yeah.
different sectors. It's we've done it in Ideal for a magazine brand that we publish
Ah,
here, and it was really really interesting. We did it in a podcast studio, and it was really
okay.
really fun. People really enjoyed it, and it's nice to put together on a table people from either competitors or from
Definitely.
different
Yeah,
sectors.
I
Yeah,
would definitely want to do that because I've thought about that, and it's just that I need to get a few videos out before I can get like an entire panel to come and speak, right?
of course. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, eventually, let's see, let's hope that it happens soon.
Perfect. Then count me in.
Definitely. But what I'll do is I'll let you know once the editing and everything is done and when I'm about to post it. It would be great, and I would really appreciate if you could share, like, subscribe on your channels, on your personal channels, so that it could reach people who actually get some value out of it, right? Because that's the